Alright folks, welcome to 90.9 The Quadratic for your Honors Algebra 2 test review video for Chapter 2. Here are the answers. It's going to be kind of quick as I'm running out of time this prep hour. Guys, 1 and 2, the domains are the x values, the ranges are the y values. Don't write down repeating ones. Like -1 in the domain, you just write that number once. It is not a function if you see the same x value twice. A cheating x, a cheating boy means it's not a function. Now, number 2, girls just want to have fun. They can take as many boys as they want to the dance. That is fine. So there's no repeat x. That's why it is a function, even though you see 4 and 9 twice in the y. On 3 through 6, you're going to plug 4 and -2 in for x in the equation that says f of x to get 8 to -16. 4 and 6, you're going to plug -3 in for x in the equation that says g of x. You're going to plug -5 in for x in the equation that says g of x. Do that arithmetic, folks. Those shouldn't be bad at all. Alright, 7 through 9, standard form, ax plus by equals c. X and y are on the same side. X and y don't have any fractions attached to them, and x must be positive. You have a leading coefficient, which I don't think I wrote down. I forgot the third one. Alright. Again, hopefully this volume, you can hear it and there's no issues. Not touching the mic at all. This is, again, we were brought to you by Glade Apple Cinnamon Plug-in, Tazo Zen Tea, Starbucks Coffee, Coffee Espresso as well. Okay, number 8, folks. Why don't we write the x first? So -2x plus 8y. You're going to move the 3 over equals 6. X can't be negative, so you multiply everything by -1. It's 2x minus 8y equals -6. Guys, in the second one, move the -2/3 y over, so it's 1/2 x plus 2/3 y equals -3. Multiply both sides by the common denominator, 2 times 3. Multiply the denominators to get 6. When you multiply everything by 6, you get 3x plus 4y equals -18. X is positive. There's no more fractions. We are in standard form. Guys, on 9, just multiply both sides by 3. You get 3x minus 1 is -12y plus 6. Add the 12y over while adding 1 to both sides, and you're in perfect standard form with 3x plus 12y equals 7. Number 10, the x-intercept is when y is 0. The y-intercept is when x is 0. Do a little moving around. Maybe move the 2y over to the left side, 5 over to the right. You get -3x minus 2y is 1. Cover-up method can now be used for both 10 and 11. Cover up the -2y, you get -3x is 1. X is a -1/3, not -3. Cover up the -3x, you get -2y is 1. Y is a -1/2, not -2. Cover up method used right away in 11. 3/4 y is 18. You can multiply both sides by 4/3 to get your answer right away, or cross multiply like I did there. Same technique used, guys. It's -2/3 x equals 18. You get x is a -27. First page is 31 points. For us, those should be easy 31 points to get. The next page, start with 2 easy 3-point questions. You've been doing slope now for 3 years. Difference of y over difference of x. 11 minus a -3 over -3 minus 8 is 14 over -8, which is a -7 over 4. Next one, 7 minus a -13 over -4 minus 4 is 20 over -8, which is a -5 over 2. Determine the slope for each equation. That's y equals mx plus b form. So move the 7 over, then subtract 10x from both sides. You get -6y is -10 plus 14. Divide everything by -6. I care about that number attached to x. Currently it's -10 over -6. That's a positive 10 over positive 6, which is 5/3. That's the slope. Very quick on 15, just move the 3x over. You got 5y equals -3x plus 24. Divide both sides by 5. That number attached to x is -3/5. Okay, 16 and 17 are some of the harder ones on the test. You want to use the slope formula. So tomorrow I'll call r, instead I'll call it x or y, whatever variable it represents. You're going to do r minus 1. You're going to do r minus 1 over 5 minus 8. Again, r is a y value, so that's why we put it with the y. R minus 1 over 5 minus 8. That's r minus 1 over -3. Now you set that equal to 1/3. That's what the slope is. Cross multiply, folks. -3 is equal to 3 times r minus 1. Do a little distribution. You're going to get r is 0. R is 0. Same thing on the next one. I always use the first order pair first, because r is the first y value. So r minus negative 3 over 10 minus 4 is r plus 3 over 6, which equals 4/3. Cross multiply 3 times r plus 3 is equal to 4 times 6. You're going to get r is 5. Y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form. You know the slope. We changed it to negative 10/3 instead of negative 6/3. I'm going to make sure there's really no decimals involved for your y-intercept tomorrow. It's a big hint, hint, wink, wink. So y is 3, x is negative 10. Solve that equation for b, get b is negative 1, put it all together. Y equals negative 2/5 x minus 1. 19, do 7 minus the negative 3 over 3 minus the negative 2. 10 over 5 is equal to 2. That's your slope. Pick an order pair to use. I like 3, 7. Plug 7 in for y, 3 in for x. You get b is 1. Put your equation together. Perpendicular lines in 20 have an opposite reciprocal slope. The opposite of negative 4 is 4. The reciprocal is 1/4. So it's y equals 1/4 x plus b. Plug in 8 for x, 3 for y. You get b is 1. Put it together like I did there. Parallel lines have the same slope in 21. Y equals a negative 1/5 x plus b. It has the same slope. Plug in negative 10 for x, 4 for y, and you get b is 2. Alright, in 22 you have a first equation, second equation, third equation. Your first equation says y equals x as long as y is less than or equal to negative 1. So you're going to use negative 1 as your first x value. Y is the same, it's negative 1. What's less than negative 1? How about negative 2? That's why I picked negative 2. And y is the same value, negative 2. Here's negative 1, negative 1. Here's negative 2, negative 2. It's going to go this way. It's going to go down. It's a closed circle around negative 1, negative 1 because you have equality there. Guys, the second equation is very easy to pick what to put in for x. It's the boundary points. It's the lower limit, upper limit. Negative 1 and 4. You're plugging in for x. It doesn't matter what x is. Y is 7. You're going to get a straight horizontal line with an open circle around negative 1, 4 because there's no equality, and a closed circle around 4, 7 because of equality. Your third equation says y equals x minus 3. As long as x is bigger than 4. Now I'm going to use 4, and I know x has to be bigger than 4, but I'm going to just put an open circle around 4. 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. Then I'm going to use 1 bigger. I'm going to use 5 because 5 is bigger than 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. It's going to, here's 4, 1. Here's 5, 2, and it's going up like this. Always want to find the vertex first for absolute value. The vertex is when you have 0 inside the absolute value. So set x minus 3 equal to 0. You get x is 3. The y-coordinate of the vertex is always this number that you're adding or subtracting, so it's negative 1. Go to the left, to the right for symmetry, and then we'll get the same y value. That's why we do it. When we plug 5 in, we're going to get 2 times 5 minus 3, which is 2 times 2 minus 1. You get 3 there, 3 there. Makes a nice V. Second to last page, we must shade on these. We're in perfect y equals mx plus b form. That's the y-intercept, and this slope, negative 3/4, means you go down 3 over 4 from that point. Greater than or equal to means it's solid. It also means we probably shade above this line, but you can always test 0, 0. That means plug in 0 for x, 0 for y, and evaluates whether or not that statement is true. And if you plug in 0 for y, 0 for x, you get 0 is greater than or equal to 5. That's false. 0, 0 is below. That region is all false, so you shade above. Alright, again, like I told you, I made 25 and 26 a little bit easier tomorrow. But here, just add 3 to both sides. Set what's on the inside equal to 0. You get x is 0. 3 is the y-coordinate of the vertex. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Plug 2 in for x right here. You're going to get the absolute value of negative 4, which is a positive 4. Add 3 to that, you get 7. It is a dotted line because there's no equality part. Plug 0, 0 in, folks. You get 0 is less than 3. You shade below. You shade below. Or outside. You shade outside the V. Like you will here, again, add 3 to both sides. This is your equation you want to work with. Set 2x minus 2 equal to 0. You get x is 1. This is the y-coordinate of the vertex 2. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. If you plug 3 in for x, you're going to get 4 in the absolute value. Add 2 to it. Negative 1, 6, 3, 6. It is solid line because of the equality, and you're going to shade on the outside. If you do test 0, 0, this time you get a true statement. 0 is less than or equal to 4. 0, 0 is on the outside, so you do shade the outside. Alright, guys, 27. You just got to pick where can I plug that value in for x. So this is f of x. If x is negative 4 is less than or equal to negative 1, so I use this first equation, 3x minus 4. I plug negative 4 into that. I get negative 16. Negative 1 is in this region. X is allowed to be negative 1 here, so I do 3 times negative 1 minus 4 to get negative 7. I plug 2 into the second equation. 2 is solidly right there. 7 minus 5 times 2 is negative 3. 4, x is allowed to be 4 in the second equation. 7 minus 5x, so it would be 7 minus 20, negative 13. And 5 is greater than 4, so I would use the third equation. 6x minus 3 is 6 times 5 minus 3, 27. This is 90.9, the quadratic, signing out with a quick video. Again, test is tomorrow.